Hi guys, you are watching Multitap Media, and to celebrate Halloween, we're going to be playing the first 3 Resident Evil games. I'm Dan Vargas.
I'm Alex Monroy.
And we are ready to get this started. Alright, so essentially it's a let's play. So Alex, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to talk about why we decided to do Resident Evil, as our choice, because there's many horror games, and we could have chosen, but we picked Resident Evil because for both Dan and I, it has a very sentimental place in our hearts. It's one of the earliest games that we played that really stuck with us as a series, as a franchise. And, obviously, as with Resident Evil 7 recently coming out, it's still a popular franchise today.
Yeah, and it's obviously had its ups and downs throughout the years.
That's for sure.
I really didn't get into it until I played the second one, which the second one is really the one that holds the most memories for me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But in terms of, which one's my favorite, it still comes down to the PlayStation Classics.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's go for it.
All right.
Raise volume just a bit.
So while I play, I just want to talk a little bit about how I got into Resident Evil in the first place, because you actually got into Resident Evil 2 first, but I actually did play Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil first. This was back in the Blockbuster days. For those of you too young to even remember how that was, you used to actually rent your games at a Blockbuster Video. And I remember I didn't even know about the game, and I saw the cover, and I went to the Blockbuster Video. And every single time I went, because I went once a week, every weekend I would go and get a new game. This game was always sold out. It was always sold out. I didn't know what it was. And I remember one day I got there and this guy was looking for it. And he saw that it wasn't there and he was freaking out. He's like, I can't believe it's still not here. And I just got lucky one week. It just happened to be there. I picked it up and, from then on I was just hooked. It was just from the moment I started it. Even with the cheesy dialogue, it was just an experience I've never had before.
See, it was my cousin Emmanuel that got the game first. We beat Resident Evil 2, and we really wanted to know where the story began, and we were just as scared playing this one, even though it was 10 times cheesier. The only thing that sucks about playing on this TV I noticed is that it's 30 times more pixelated.
Yeah.
And that's because it's being upscaled, because this is originally supposed to be on tube TVs, a CRT TV. Obviously, if we try to do that with these cameras, you wouldn't see anything. You see nothing but lines.
But it's really, really hard to picture nowadays because, technology with gaming has advanced so much. But you have to realize that how revolutionary this was for us when we first played it. There was nothing like this, at least for me. Because I had gotten this right when I got the PlayStation for Christmas. I had never played anything like this.
Yeah, it's back then. This was the closest you could get to a movie-like experience. So
right.
when you're playing Uncharted, and people feel like that is the epitome of what a movie-type game. If you were inside a movie, that's how it should feel.
Right.
This essentially was it for us. The camera angle changes,
and then you had this first scene, which was I had to I almost turned the game off when this happened because I had never seen anything like this. I wasn't ready for this, and it just freaked me out. I can't remember how old I was, but I was very young.
Now, fun fact, this is the director's cut, but it is not actually the director's cut. So what happened is when they made the game and they were making the director's cut, they accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So when they were making the discs, it had the original game only with the arranged mode that they added. And we never actually got to see the true director's cut until Resident Evil Dead Silence came out on the Nintendo DS. And it is still the only one that has that version.
Wesker, chill.
So you would see extended cut scenes. The first zombie you see, that actually is, it's extended. So you actually see the head roll off first. So
my favorite thing about that version of Resident Evil is you can skip the door cutscenes.
Oh.
You would think that something like that is just so insignificant, but it makes a big difference.
Well, essentially the door cutscenes were for loading the
times,
yeah, it was just loading it, but it was a really creative way to hide the load.
So this hides the loading screen for the next visual that occurs. You get to see this, and it kind of builds the suspense, but it does get old after a while.
Especially in this one, because this one I felt had it's a lot of backtracking. So you will go back and forth to a lot of the rooms.
Yeah, the original 2 had a lot of backtrack, especially part 1.
And essentially, the way these games
see if I can kill this guy.
The way these games were designed back then, this is pretty much a 3D image, and they just map where the character can walk. And as he walks further away from the camera, he gets smaller. When he gets closer, he gets bigger. And that's all they really did. The level really isn't there.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I trapped myself.
Get a little drink here. So I'm going to plug in. If you haven't seen it already,
I'll come back to that.
Check out Alex's The Bartender. We made a Resident Evil drink. And I highly recommend checking it out. It's called the Barry Bourbon. So if you're a bourbon drinker, you will enjoy it.
Alright, there's a little trick you can do. I messed it up. Where you can slice them, pause the game, and it skips your animation. Dodge those 3. Game was significantly harder as Chris. You could choose 2 people, obviously, Chris or Jill. And Chris had his advantages because he was a lot more durable and he could take a lot more hits, but that was pretty much the only advantage you had with Chris Redfield.
Yeah, if you're looking to have fun gun-wise and play with different guns, pick Jill, because she actually gets the most creative guns.
Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
It was also amazing back then that they actually had voice acting within.
Despite the fact that it was horrible, it was still impressive.
Chambers. I'm a newcomer. I just joined the
And
Star
obviously
Soccer
adds
team
to the
last
cinematic
month.
feel.
Well,
These are all pre-programmed animations that they do. There's no mocap. There's no facial expressions. They can't even move their lips.
Are you the only person here from the Bravo team?
Everything shown when they talk is all by doing kung fu, essentially.
Landing. I just ran into this house anyway, but I
see. There's nothing else you could have done anyway. It's good you're here.
Yes, sir.
You would think they're part of the mafia or something with the amount of hand expressions that they do. Come
I
on!
serviced the helicopter recently, but something went wrong with the engine. It was
Her
such a
hand,
short-
look at her hand. It's it looks like she's doing the Macarena or something.
So in this room you get access to your first key, and that's kind of how the game was. You just had to figure it out. Oh, I got a mansion key. What does it do?
And it was inspired by, I believe, the Alone in the Dark games, because they were very similar.
Right. So you can examine this, and then it says a carving of a sword. So now you know you have the sword key. It was things like that it made the game so innovative for me personally, because I had never been in that experience where I had to figure things out that way.
All right, can you do me a favor? Well, after this, can you hit select and see if smoothing or one of the? I feel like one of the options is on. That's creating. I don't know. It could just be throwing me off on how pixelated it is.
So this was another key as well. This actually added to the game. There were certain decisions that you could make. They were key to the plot and how things would happen. So the first choice you have is to let Rebecca stay in the room or to help you out.
There are a lot of chemicals in this room, and they might be useful. Well, I'll look over the chemicals.
I chose to keep her here because it's beneficial to me. Makes the game easier, and she can heal me later too. So you want to hit select, right?
Yeah, just select real quick. Go to other settings. No, it's not normal. All right, never mind. Forget it. Oh shit!
I wonder how many times he hit me.
I don't know.
Let's see my health.
Oh, you're on caution. Yeah, you're fine.
One on purple. Yellow.
So back for some reason in Resident Evil, I think 1 and 2. I don't know if 3 added it. If you use a first aid spray, it actually lowers your overall score when you finish the game.
No, in this game, it started with this game actually. there's a ranking system in the original. Well, most of them have the ranking system, and your ranking is based on how long it takes you to complete the game, and also how many first aid sprays you use. Is one of that'll actually decrease your ranking. Then you have little pop-up scenes like this that scare you.
Ah!
I'm actually gonna kill this guy with a pistol. Because I want that shotgun shell.
So another thing that he has less item slots to start with than Jill does.
And he has 6, Jill has 8, and you would think like 2 slots, that's not a big deal. But in a game like this, it really makes a difference.
Now,
it really makes a difference.
Did they have the extra pack in this game to add inventory space, or no? That's only in part 2.
No, that started in part 2.
See, back in the PlayStation era, a lot of games were single player story based, and it's unfortunate today that we're seeing with games like the new canceled Star Wars game that they're no longer concentrating on single player experiences.
See, I already can't pick this up, but it's convenient because I do need to heal, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that, clear up some room. And I guess after this part, we'll switch over.
And this is probably as well as I can play the piano right here.
It's me, Chris.
And this kind of further solidifies the difference between Chris and Jill, because Jill can actually play the piano, and in this scene she just plays it outright and solves the puzzle, but Chris needs help.
Moonlight Sonata.
Can you play?
And she sucks too, so.
Yeah, takes her a couple tries. And it's worth noting, for those of you that don't know, they did remake this game, and it was exceptional. It improved in every aspect of the game. Came out originally on the GameCube, then it was ported many times. Recently came out on the PlayStation 4. It's on the PlayStation 3.
And then the Super Turbo X version will be out on the next couple of systems.
But if you decide that you want to play this game, I would suggest starting with that rather than the original.
This is really, if you're nostalgic and you've played it, give this one a shot. But really, the Resident Evil remake is the better version. There's no doubt about that.
And some might even say that even the remake is slightly outdated, so you can imagine this is even worse. You know?
Yeah, this is cell phone games don't even look like this anymore. And they had a fun fact. They had actually tried to put this on the Game Boy Color, and that is, I think that's like what, all of 8 bits.
Yeah, it's funny because I believe that they never officially released it, but it's like 80% done, and there are emulators online. You can go on YouTube and see people playing the game.
I have tried it, and it is it's bad. It's you got to think the Game Boy had all of 2 buttons, so like I really don't know how they
That's probably
expect
why
you
they
to do
scrapped
anything.
it.
I'm surprised with Bob that they never ported it to the other Nintendo systems, like the Wii U or. And this came out on the GameCube.
Well, you know what I think it was? I think they gave up on Nintendo because of the poor sales. Because what was supposed to happen was they did remake the original, but the intention was to remake all 3 of the originals. 1, 2, and 3. And because of the poor sales from the original, Capcom decided it wasn't worth doing part 2 and 3.
And so we're supposed to get. I'm still waiting on Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'm not sure what that version is. If it's gonna play like Resident Evil 4, if it's gonna be more like if it plays like Resident Evil 7. Not that I didn't like the game, I wouldn't be interested in it. I don't know. It's just it wouldn't be for me.
Yeah, I think that Capcom is going through some troubles now, and you know, there hasn't been any announcements. There was supposed to be a demo released with Resident Evil 7, but
that was just a rumor though. That was a rumor. It wasn't ever official. But it's been silent for I think over 2 years now. So I'm hoping maybe E3 will see something.
All right, so you want to switch over?
Yeah. All right. Let's start up Resident Evil 2. Okay, so we just loaded up Resident Evil 2, and we're gonna go back in memory time in this game as well. Alright, so I'm just gonna play the original game. I'm just gonna pick normal.
Now this is Danny's baby. Obviously, I'm a huge fan, but this is like his first one, so he's gonna play this one.
And watch me die. I'm gonna die like right in the beginning.
But talk a little bit about what got you. How'd you even know about this game?
So first time I played this game, I went into. I was at a friend's house, and he had just gotten the PlayStation. Actually no, he rented the PlayStation from Blockbuster.
Yeah, you could rent
systems. So back
systems
then you could rent video game systems. And his sister had borrowed, I think this was like the only game that they were able to get. And for some reason, like this was, it happened to be Resident Evil 2, which was one of the biggest games back then. And when he was playing it, I was just like blown away. I was like, what is this? This is like a horror movie. And it was zombies, and zombies are always something I was always interested in. And this is pretty much what started my fuel in like having an obsession with zombie horror. Like zombie horror games were not a big thing until like Resident Evil started that trend. We wouldn't have Left 4 Dead and what's the PlayStation game? It's like on the tip of my head. The Last of Us.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Resident Evil.
So many games were inspired by the Resident Evil franchise. Like so many, especially like the any of the classic third-person horror games that you can think of, Dead Space, anything like that, inspired by some Resident Evil game.
Yeah, and this game definitely they really upped the budget in this game. Like the cutscenes are cleaner. Right. Like I remember when I saw this, I was just like blown away because there were no games back then that actually had full CGI like cutscenes throughout the entire game. Like you might see it in the beginning and maybe later on, but they really went all out with this.
Yeah, one of the advantages of Sony deciding to go disc-based rather than cartridge-based or anything like that. Sega CD tried obviously the same thing, but they tried to utilize actual footage, and it just failed miserably.
The discs were actually able to hold a lot more data than the cartridges, which the N64 ended up using, and they were actually able to port Resident Evil 2 to the N64, but it suffered in playback quality when it came to any of the cutscenes because they pretty much had to compress it down to like the smallest amount that they possibly could. And the audio also suffered because they didn't use discs.
Yeah.
So whenever I saw Leon, I always thought he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know why he looked like this was the look back then.
Well, Leon's look has obviously evolved throughout the franchise. He looks nothing like this now.
But his hair has always stayed the same.
Yeah.
He's always had the hair. And Leon, for some reason, is the fan favorite. He's the one that everybody
I think what it was Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 definitely his popularity surged after that.
Well, the reason why they chose him for Resident Evil 4 was because he was always a popular character. He was always one of the characters that everybody liked seeing.
Yeah. The ladies love him. The Resident Evil nerds love him.
Claire was pretty popular as well. But I don't know what the heck they did to her face in Revelations. Like, her face looked all jacked up. It was just like, I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, I don't want to make this episode about Capcom, but we obviously have a love and hate relationship with Capcom. There's a lot of things they do that we really love, especially in the beginning, early on. But there's a lot of things that they do, especially nowadays, that you just like shrug, you know?
Yeah.
Or you just face palm. Obviously, you can see the graphics are better, the voice acting is better, everything is superior in this version as opposed to Resident
they don't feel as robotic in this one.
And you're gonna see soon when he starts the actual game that even the gameplay is just more crisp. You know, it's still pixelated, but
they used a lot more 3D actual images and 3D models within the games. Because back then, even though this is still, you're just walking on a CGI drawing. That's essentially what you're doing, and there's elements added into it to make it look like you're in a level, but there really isn't anything there. It's not the first game that actually, I believe, added a full CGI, full 3D model for the level, I believe, was Code Veronica. In Code Veronica, they ditched using those drawings, essentially, and they actually modeled every single level. And
probably had a lot to do with the fact that it was developed by a different company.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was still a Capcom production, but it wasn't by them. So I'm an idiot, and I ran straight into the zombie. But yeah, I'm off to a great start. So watch me die.
No, you'll be alright. You're in caution now.
Yeah.
Still okay.
Alright, so let's get past this dude. That's what I get for talking and playing at the same time.
Now, Resident Evil 2 by far, I'm pretty sure at this point Resident Evil 4 has surpassed it in terms of popularity, but Resident Evil 2 at the time was the most popular Resident Evil game. So much so that they came out with so many different ports and versions. It came out on the Dreamcast, it came out on the GameCube, it's on everything.
Now the Dreamcast version actually is the better looking version. They up-resed it a bit, so it has, you can actually see the detail in their face in that one. It's not as pixelated. I kind of wish they brought that version in when they ported it to the PS3.
Yeah.
I wish that was a version I could download, because it did have a couple extra features, like you can view the artwork in the game, you can view different costumes. I believe they just added a couple more things. And this version, I don't know if this one actually, I think this is the DualShock version, so I think it does have battle mode.
It does. It has extreme battle mode. One of the frustrating things about the fact that there are so many ports is what Capcom did was every version had added features that the other version may not have had. Like, for example, the N64 version actually has a liquor in it, or a secret enemy that's not in any other version. I'm actually not sure because I've never played the N64 version. But it's like Dan said, when they port these versions of Resident Evil 2, it would be nice if we actually got all of these things added on. But usually when they port it, it's just an emulation of the original, PS1 version.
I should get the ammo. Should I get the ammo?
Yeah, grab it.
Alright, so normally, if you don't pick up the ammo, I think it's right here.
No, it's here. You were right there. See it?
I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
There's another ammo in the corner that I'm not going to bother with.
Yeah, so if you don't pick up the ammo, there's actually a little Easter egg where you get to see a character, you get to fight a character from the first game called Brad. He was the pilot in the first game. And if you actually get to fight him and kill him, you get a secret key that accesses a wardrobe where you can change your costume, and there's actually a different gun for Claire. She gets a different pistol. So, little things like that. In the old school games, they used to add that. I feel like, that's kind of missing in new games, but... By the way, there is a video on YouTube on a guy called Lotus Prince, and what he does is he actually breaks down every single version of Resident Evil 2 and the differences. I would highly suggest checking that video out if you're curious about seeing the differences in the versions, because like Dan and I said, there are some differences. The reason why you don't have auto aim is because you got to change the type.
Oh yeah, no wonder why. I was like wondering, like I don't remember.
Hit select.
Yeah, select.
You gotta change
so
the
this just helps me to save a little bit of ammo.
There's also an unlimited ammo code that you can put input in there.
Oh, fuck that guy.
That was a nice little trick they added in the DualShock version. Definitely things like that I miss about old school gaming. You know, having those cheats and stuff like that.
Alright, You can ice skate too, if you tap it on the button. It just kind of looks like he's having a seizure, but whatever. It looks fun.
Dan knows about one of the secret spots for the ammo.
Yeah.
Shows you how many times we played this game.
And Alex and Joel, is that what it says there?
Yeah.
That's good. Now I'm on caution. Oh no! Oh.
You might be in danger now. Yeah.
Yep. Now this is how danger looks. Do I have first aid?
I don't believe you don't.
So I'm about to die.
They actually added this in this version. In the original, you know, they have the same format with your health. They had fine, caution, and danger. And when you were caution or danger, your animation would change when you walk or run, and it would show you that you're actually in a different health status. And when you're in danger, that's it. One more shot and you're done.
I should be able to make it.
Yeah, you should be fine. Just be careful. There's a...
Yeah, he's on the floor.
She's on the floor.
Oh, she's on the floor. You can tell it's been a while.
Oh, that's it.
Nope.
Oh, you got it.
Nope.
Nice.
Nope. It ain't over yet.
He's definitely not dead.
Yeah.
He might still not be dead. I think he's still alive. No.
Nope, he's
you're
dead.
good. Okay. And you can tell by the pool of blood.
So I'm just gonna run faster like this, cause he limps too much.
Yeah, this is the toughest part of this escape to the precinct, and then you're good if you can get through this. A lot of zombies.
Yeah,
here.
and I've done this before if I didn't get hit, but it's been a very long time since I've actually.
One of the things about the old school Resident Evil games is what they call tank controls, and it's a difficult thing to get used to, especially nowadays with modern games. Even for us, we played these games so many times. But
And they updated it on the Resident Evil remake. They actually switched the way the controls work and it works a lot better. But you won't be able to do any of the tricks that people have been known to do for years.
the reason why they call it tank is because of the way you maneuver and you move. Your overall movement in the game. It's like a tank. And it kind of makes things difficult.
There's somebody still alive.
I think you're good, actually. Just walk on the edge.
I hear somebody walking. There he is.
He's definitely not
Not
dead.
dead. Come on. Got 3 bullets.
You'll be alright. That's it.
Let's ice skate out of here.
I think that guy has ammo, no?
Which one?
Check that body. Or one of the bodies. Huh.
Nada.
Well, there's one more guy.
This guy right here.
Guess I made that up.
Yeah. Alright. Let's glitch out of here.
So we're good. There's actually a green herb coming up, so you're good. And you're up to the precinct.
Where's that herb again?
Just go down. Not there.
Downstairs?
Yeah.
Looks like an idiot. And now he walks. Going down the stairs is no problem.
So yeah, if you did do the Brad Vickers part, he would actually be here and you'd fight him in this spot. The way you get Brad is you have to go through this entire part without picking up any ammunition. And if you're able to do that, you get Brad. There you go.
Is there another one here?
No.
No? Oh, you can't quick turn. That's Resident Evil 3.
My favorite.
I'm gonna get to like one other part, and then we're gonna.
As you
We're
can
gonna
see,
switch
they still included the doors. That it actually became a tradition after a while. I don't even think it was necessary. They just added it to add it.
Right.
And let this cutscene play out.
Fun fact: only black guy in the game. That's kind of messed up.
And he dies pretty early too.
You know, I'm honestly surprised you haven't played as a minority as the main character yet.
You must be the new guy.
Like, they had Sheva as a side character.
Sorry. No.
The second player will play him. I don't even think with all the characters that they added in Resident Evil 6 that they had.
Elena was white? She looked like Hispanic, maybe. Elena?
Maybe. Helena? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But, like, regardless, it wasn't, like, straightforward. Not even an Asian guy. I'm surprised.
Right.
Chris.
Well, the one thing about the Resident Evil series is that they've always tried to depict it as a Hollywood movie. And
Yeah,
I guess maybe
that
that's
tells you
why.
something about Hollywood right there.
Yeah.
Their lives to reveal the truth.
Especially early Hollywood.
No one believed them.
Alright.
Long after that,
I'm going to do one other part and then
happened.
finish this one up.
And what's cool about this version, as opposed to the first version, is first version was strictly in the mansion, where in this version you finally get to see what it's like for the outbreak outside in actual Raccoon City.
Yeah, it goes, you're not stuck in one location. Even though the mansion, like, there was multiple areas within that mansion, but you're not, it doesn't feel like you're in the same area the entire time.
The third one, he did an even better job of letting you see, like, the outside.
There's, like, no
Raccoon City.
backtracking in
Yeah.
the third one.
The third one, you get to see, like, multiple locations of Raccoon City, which is why I loved it so much.
Alright, so I just gotta go to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, if I had the shotgun in this area for some reason, if you aim at the screen, you can shoot the camera.
There's a couple spots you can do that in. And it's just like part of the old school gaming, just like little Easter eggs that they threw in.
Alright, ID card. Hurry up. I think the battery's dying on the camera, so before we play the next game, we'll have to switch.
You know what I was always surprised about? These games were pretty violent, even though it was way past like the generation of like Mortal Kombat, and it did have a disclaimer. I was surprised they weren't controversial.
No, they
for its
were.
violence.
They
Oh,
were. We just weren't too young to like really watch the news and really care. Now, take a look at this window. Look at that, a naked man. No, it's a monster.
Especially Resident Evil 2 really took the violence to a next level. That scene with the Chief Irons when the thing comes out of his body.
And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do something different. Now, oh look, a dead body and blood dripping. No, let's walk to the blood because that's a smart thing to do. Huh? What's that? So this is probably my most memorable part of the game. Like, this is how you knew, like, right from the beginning, you're in for something different.
Yeah, the Resident Evil 1 had the scene with the turnaround zombie. Resident Evil 2, this was that scene with a new enemy.
So I'm gonna place my controller down. And we're just gonna watch this punk die. Look at that thing. Looks like Valdo from Soul Calibur.
He's surprisingly not aggressive.
Yeah, look at him. He's just like, what? Maybe he can't see me. Look at that.
Oh, he is blind.
Oh, there you go. It took a while. I didn't even realize that. I was just like, oh, there goes his tongue.
Licked him.
Ah, that was loud.
He didn't get to see the decapitation.
Oh yeah, so if you do it right, he gets decapitated. But all right, we're gonna start our next game. So we're gonna play Resident Evil Nemesis. I'm gonna pass it off to Alex.
One of my favorite games ever. My favorite Resident Evil series, and also one of my favorite games ever. It was on my top 5 games of all time.
I'm gonna fix something real quick.
What Resident Evil 3 did is just continue to improve the series in every way. So the gameplay is improved, FMV is improved, everything is improved. Obviously it looks better, overall it's more fluid, it's got a dodge mechanic that makes the game easier.
So this one really had a lot more action in the game.
Yeah.
It was a bit more intense, and I think with Resident Evil 4 they took a lot out of this game. Because, like we said, Code Veronica, which technically was supposed to be Resident Evil 3, was made by a separate company. It wasn't made by the Capcom Resident Evil team. So, when they made 4, they really tried to just change things and bring it back up again.
Resident Evil 3 was the first Resident Evil that showed you how the outbreak was throughout the entire city.
So essentially this game takes place before 2 and then eventually after part 2.
It's
so it's
before,
like before,
during, and after.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it was an interesting game. And this was supposed to be a side game, but because Capcom had a deal with PlayStation to create a sequel to Resident Evil 2 that was supposed to be on their system only, they just swapped Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 3. They just did it. Yeah. I believe Sony was not happy about that, but they could not complain because they were giving them a numbered game. So they pretty much like, screw you, whatever.
So essentially it was a happy accident, and I think one of the reasons why it was so successful, and one of my favorites was Nemesis. You know, obviously the whole idea behind Nemesis was genius. You know?
And I almost didn't get this game. I was about to just like brush it off. I was just like, I don't know if I want to get Resident Evil, but I was looking for Christmas gifts, and it was in a Toys R Us book, and I grabbed it. That was the one. I remember my aunt got it for me, and she got me this and the strategy guide, which I have in another room.
And at this point in the series, I obviously fell in love with the series at 1, so I did play 2, loved it, and I was super hyped about 3. I got it as soon as it came out. And I did not turn off my PlayStation until I beat this game, which took a while, because Nemesis killed me so many times.
Did you get it when it came out? Because
Yeah.
I know it came out in October, and I got it, well, like I said, I got it for Christmas.
Yeah. No, I couldn't wait. I think I got my allowance money together and just scrapped it up and purchased it.
I think almost all of the games, the first ones, because I was so scared, I played the GameStar codes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Like infinite ammo.
I probably wouldn't have, if it wasn't for the first time I saw somebody play Resident Evil 2. It was somebody used the Game Shark in order to beat the game, because that's how they said it was the only way you could beat the game back then.
One thing I liked about what Capcom did early on was they really tried to, with the sequels, focus on each character from the original series personally. So we were reintroduced to Jill Valentine's character,
who became a prostitute in this one, but
and then obviously Resident Evil 5, you had Chris reintroduced. Leon is reintroduced multiple times.
For some reason, I don't know why, Chris reminds me, the pre-Resident Evil 7 Chris, of Magic Mike in 5. Because he's just like really big.
He got big out of nowhere.
He got big out of nowhere.
So one of the greatest things they introduced, quick turn.
Yeah, that was like...
automatic.
I don't know how they didn't have that before.
Just makes it more fluid. The reload tool, which I absolutely love.
For some reason, they actually gave you manuals, I think one is a standard manual. So if you go to your option menu, it shows you manual how to play the game and a manual how to make your bullets. Because in this game, you could actually find gunpowder, and you could combine it with different gunpowders to create different shells and different ammo for all your weapons.
Yeah, so as opposed to picking up, let's say, for example, a handgun ammo, you're able to pick up gunpowder, and you're able to make whatever ammo you need.
Yeah, and she has a big enough purse to hold this ammo creation tool.
So I'm gonna combine these 2 gunpowder A's and with the reload tool, and I actually get.
Might as well discard. There's no point in that.
Yeah. So it was just great because like you were able to control exactly the ammo that you needed. If you preferred to run through the game with the shotgun, you could manipulate the game and get shotgun ammo.
How fast can you get to Nemesis?
I can do it. You'll do the most of the talking, and I'll just read this. I can get to it pretty fast.
Because Nemesis was like the big thing. He was the big cheese.
And then obviously being able to manipulate the storyline. So Resident Evil 2, one of the great things about Resident Evil 2 was you had Leon A, you had Claire B, you had Claire A, you had Leon B. So you got to see different perspectives, and it gave the game replay value.
If you notice, you don't actually have to. You just walk straight down the stairs. You don't have to press a button to walk down the stairs.
But what this game did, instead of having 2 perspectives, is it allowed you to make choices, and based on the choices you made, you got to see different outcomes.
Yeah.
So mostly they had to deal with Nemesis, though. Whether you'd fight him or choose to fight him or escape.
So that was Brad Vickers, who we mentioned before was the person that you kill in part 2 if you do the secret stuff. They all want a piece of her. That's why they,
Oh, I'm into that. We're both very rusty.
Yeah, it's been a while. Apparently, it has been for them as well. So.
There's one more guy.
Yeah, he's down there. And then there's what's down there again? Now, if you notice, the zombies have a lot more detail on them, and they don't look as decomposed. They look pretty fresh. This version is a lot more aggressive than the past ones.
Yeah, zombies are faster. Most of the enemies in general are just more aggressive. They give you the shotgun right away, and it kind of shows you why you need it right away.
There he is. You're missing. Ooh,
it's vomiting on me.
That means he likes you.
Alright, let's grab some of these herbs.
You see, back then, people were also vegan. So that's why there's all these plants everywhere.
She's on a plant-based diet.
Yep, there's kale.
Promoting that vegan lifestyle.
She makes a little salad and like wraps and stuff.
No Jill sandwiches for her.
Nope, no Jill sandwich.
Forgot about that guy. Dodge him. Dodge all these guys.
Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Alright, let's see how good my dodging skills are here.
Go.
Still got it, sort of.
See, back then there was no such thing as like the hyper running zombies. Everything in these games they just walk slow. We didn't start seeing parkour zombies until Left 4 Dead. And then, you don't really have to do anything here. He'll kill him.
Actually, I'm just gonna go grab.
You could just be like, all right, I'm gonna rob this place and I'm gonna take the money from the cash register and.
For some reason, the cash register had handgun ammo.
I'd be pissed if I just like walked away and just like I had to like do everything by myself.
The police aren't trained for this kind of situation. What could they do? Listen, he's coming for us. We're both gonna die.
What are you saying?
You'll see. He's after STARS members. There's no escape.
So it's definitely at this part that I started getting creeped out because it's like, what is Brad talking about? Who is coming after me?
Oh, we gotta combine this.
Whoa.
Oh, that was a dodge.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Oh, the zombies are right there.
Yeah, they're right there. You're gonna get hit again. You're hurt.
Oh, but made me lose my train of thought.
I think any female zombies in this one? I know they
Yeah.
a lot of dudes.
Yeah, there's a female coming up in this part.
You never see any children zombies.
No.
I wonder if that's just like a thing back then. We can't show children as zombies.
Well, Silent Hill did it with the kids in school.
Oh, there is one. Now you're good. Oh, some of them are still back there.
Definitely worth picking up. Oh.
Yep, the photo, because she's an avid photographer.
These red herbs.
Are you gonna get stuck?
No, I'll be alright.
She's trying to open the door.
You notice us shaking in the controller when we get attacked. That actually helps. So we're almost.
So now we got these dudes.
We're gonna go ahead and ignore those dogs because it's not even worth it. So as you can see, like, you're outside a lot more in this game. So you get to see Raccoon City.
We're about to go to a familiar location.
Yeah, you get to revisit the precinct.
Alright. This is the big reveal. Where did he jump from?
Probably the roof. Nemesis like rooftops. So Brad finally dies after all this time.
Then we have to face Sagat now.
This is the first choice you get. You can fight him or you can run away. I'm gonna choose to run away.
Because now, if you fight him and kill him, he actually drops stuff. But it'll be damn near impossible to actually kill him here. Like, it's not impossible, but it's not going to be fun.
No, the problem is that you end up losing a lot of the ammunition that you have killing him. You do get upgrades for your weapons. You are rewarded for killing him.
But you can get them at other moments in the game as well. So it's not like by skipping just this one, you're going to lose out on that.
Let's pick that up later. And the cool thing about Nemesis is that he really comes after you throughout the entire game. So it's not just that scene. Like, he's literally pursuing you.
This is where continuity kind of breaks. So if you remember, Brad is alive, and he just died. But now we're inside this room, and Marvin, the cop, is not here. He's actually dead inside the office, which doesn't happen until a significant portion of Resident Evil 2. So, a lot of continuity errors inside this game. I wonder if Resident Evil 2, the remake, if they're doing it, will include a little bit of this and actually fix the continuity, because some of this just makes zero sense. Like, if you go inside the office, his body's dead, and Leon kills him here.
Yeah.
But technically, we're before any of that ever happens.
Well, you do see some doors boarded up that weren't boarded up in 2, so maybe this was after.
But what doesn't make any sense is that Brad is just died. Yet if you do the secret in part 2, he's been dead.
Yeah, but it's a secret, so maybe it's like an unofficial thing, you know.
This party hats here. They were really supposed to throw a party for Leon, because cops do that.
It was his first day on the job.
They were gonna make balloon animals. They're gonna do a bunch of stuff for him. They got ruined.
So I actually have no more inventory space. One of the problems with old school Resident Evils, you have to deal with inventory space.
In Resident Evil 0, you could drop the items on the floor, but it's still only, every room still had a cap on what you were allowed to
There's a female.
drop. Yeah, there's a female. There's Freddy Krueger there.
Ugh. Freddy Krueger. Ugh. Let's pop the head open.
Alright. So that's pretty much Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, that wraps it up.
We really, like, if you're willing to go for the challenge, check it out. Even just watch it on Twitch. There's a lot of people that still play this game and do speedrun on Twitch. And it's still enjoyable to watch.
One of my personal favorites is a guy named Carcinogen. He actually speedruns all the original Resident Evils, and he does the new ones as well. So you should definitely check out his page first if you're looking for like old school Resident Evil stuff. He does speedruns where he doesn't get hit at all. He does speedruns where he only uses the knife. So he challenges himself, you know, and makes it harder for himself. But his runs are like my personal favorite.
All right, so that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate it.
And stay tuned for more stuff that we're going to start shooting. All right?
See you next time.
Take it easy.